Okay, and now we're going to do the left side of the low lunge and the half split. So bringing your left foot forward in between your hands. Knee can come a little bit past your foot if that feels okay. This one's a little easier on my knee. I'm feeling a stretch here, so I'm going to take this stretch up high, taking a couple breaths here. And then coming down. Remember that you can always have your hands on your blocks too. That might be helpful for many of us. Inching our foot out into the half split, and then remember to explore what stretch feels good for you. Is it ball of the foot pointed towards the floor? And I should mention that you can also bend your knee a little bit. Is it foot flexed? And do you want to take the stretch where you go down towards your knee, keeping as straight back as possible? See if you can touch your nose to your knee. Take a couple breaths here. And when you're ready, bring your foot back to tabletop. And let's come out of that. We're gonna try a vinyasa, a short sun salute vinyasa now. And again, you may, when we come down, you may want to use blocks. You may want to use some kind of padding for your knees as we come down. And for this pose, we are going to go over another foundational pose, which is called mountain pose or Tadasana. So for mountain pose, let's stand tall, grounding in your feet. There's 3 triangular points of contact. We have the ball of our big toe, the ball of our pinky toe, and our heel. So rock back and forth a little bit. Find your center. Find where your knees feel very comfortable over your arches. And then engage your knees and your quads a little bit. Experiment with your pose of your pelvis. Are you going to be posterior, anterior, or can you find that sweet neutral spot where your pelvis is right over your knees? And then we're going to feel our belly button pressing to our core. We're going to engage our lower ribs, widen our chest. Our arms will be facing front, extended down, and our fingers are engaged, spread out, widened. And then we're going to feel our whole spine lengthening and extending all the way through our neck, all the way through our crown chakra, relaxing the tongue to the top of the roof of our mouth and relaxing our jaw. And let's take a couple breaths here in mountain pose or Tadasana. And from here we're going to take an inhale and we're going to come up to Urdhva Hastasana or extended mountain pose. We can come straight up or we can take a little extension in our upper spine with our neck looking up to the side. And then as we're going to come down, we can use the Superman form of bringing our arms back, folding. This is on an exhale, hinging at our hips, folding forward to forward fold or Uttasana. For this one, we may want to use blocks to rest our hands on. We're going to let our neck totally relaxed here. We want to try to see if instead of leaning back, we can kind of just be straight up and then just letting everything relax. And then we're going to come to, on our next inhale, we're going to come up for Ardha Uttanasana or halfway lift. So for this one, you can still keep your hands on blocks. You can put them on your shins. You want to have a straight as possible spine, like a 90-degree angle, or if you can, go a little farther. If you can put your hands on the ground, that's okay too. And then coming back up, on your inhale, back into extended mountain pose. Take a breath here and then come back to mountain pose. This is another version of mountain pose where your hands are on your heart, and this is one that we frequently use in our vinyasa. Okay, shake it out, take a breath here. Now let's do our sun salutation A. So this one we're going to include the pose that we use, the downward dog, and we're going to add a couple other poses. So in your mountain pose, come up to extended mountain pose, hinge forward to forward fold, hinge from your hips, let your head hang and forward fold. Inhale, come up to halfway lift. Exhale, back to forward fold. Now on our next inhale, we are going to step back into plank pose. If plank pose is hard for some of you, you can bring your knees down, like letting the top of your feet touch the ground. So this is plank pose, and so from here, we're going to, on our next exhale, gently let ourselves come down to the ground, placing our, sorry, I need to do a little adjustment here. So from here, we're going to go into cobra, so we're going to make sure that our hands are under our shoulders, pressing the tops of your feet into the earth, and your fronts of your legs are engaged. And from here, take an inhale, arch your back, let your face come up facing the wall. See if you can lift your hands. This is your natural cobra, so you want your back to be doing the work. And exhale, come down. Inhale, we're going to come into downward dog, remembering that you can always go to child's pose or tabletop and do a tabletop cat-cow sequence instead of the cobra downward dog sequence. So take 3 breaths in downward dog, finding your optimum position, making sure your head's in alignment with your ears. If it feels good, bend your knees a little bit. And on your next inhale, look forward towards your hand, and then exhale, walking your feet back up to your hands. Let your head hang in forward fold or Uttanasana. And then inhale, taking Superman, coming all the way back up to extended mountain pose. And exhale, back into mountain pose. And we're going to end back into our strong mountain pose, feeling all the work we've done, feeling the pleasure of our circulation, and a warm-up job well done. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and namaste.